Welcome to the Duo Athlete Podcast.
We're Shayna and Frank, a couple of athletes balancing training, racing, work, and life.
This is where we talk about the honest version of endurance sports, biking, running, relationships, and everything that happens between the workouts.
Bike, run, real life.
Let's get started.
Have you learned anything from the week or any takeaways or listened to any good podcasts lately?
I have, actually. I went to the Everyday Ultra podcast live version that Joe put on.
That was cool.
That was cool.
I missed it, but I was out doing a group ride, but I caught a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, he gives a lot of good training pointers. And I mean, honestly, like, big shout out to the Everyday Ultra podcast and Joe, because they have changed the way that I train. And a lot of the concepts that I talk about with you or probably on here as we get into more episodes, like, kind of comes from their philosophy.
Like time on feet?
Time on feet, yeah.
Yeah, does that come straight from Joe?
Yeah, the podcast for sure. Yeah, time on feet and like your slow runs, like run your easy runs easy. And yeah, I mean, I've learned just so much from, and just like the little tidbits that you pick up from like the culture, like just ultra running culture and tips and tricks that you learn. So yeah, that would be my takeaway for this past week. I mean, once this episode comes out, it'll be a couple weeks past, but you can definitely go listen to episode 400. I would think by the time our podcast launches that Joe's should be out too. So,
And he mentioned you during his podcast?
I mean, a couple
'Cause you were
times.
typing and
Yeah, I was in the chat. I was like, hey, wait, but cyclists do this. And I was like, oh, but I don't know. I had some other things I was saying too. So yeah, you can hear my name a couple times.
that's really cool because you introduced me to Joe and I thought he was this huge celebrity, and then he like paced one of our friends
Yeah.
at the race, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Christy Brinker.
And he's super enthusiastic, and just his energy is contagious.
Yeah.
He's always building people up, and we try to be that way too. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And you were trying to win what during this thing?
Oh, well, he was giving away entries to the Desert Peak Ultra that he's putting on for the second year. And then he has another race that he was going to do, I think in February, that he has yet to announce like officially. But yeah, it was, I was hoping to win an entry to the Desert Peak Ultra. I mean, I could just sign up for the Desert Peak Ultra, but I thought it'd be cool if I won an entry. So
Yeah, that would be awesome. And there was some coaching giveaways too.
yeah, there's one-on-one coaching and group coaching giveaways, and it was cool. It was cool. No, they're good people. So yeah, that was my takeaway. My takeaways happen to be other podcasts all the time because that's where I learn. That's where I learn so much about things I'm interested in is other podcasts. So
Yeah, and I'm getting into that, liking that stuff too. Like the podcast, is when we start our longer runs, we listen to the same podcast, and then it's over in an hour or so, and then we get to
yeah,
discuss what we just heard.
yeah, what we heard and what we learned, and possibly what we can apply to our podcast. And
Yeah, that hour goes by pretty quick
yeah,
listening. And I like the interview style, so I think you've been picking those
I
because
have been.
like the first one I listened to from Joe, he's like he didn't take a breath and he just talked, and I had to get used to that, and I couldn't at first, but
yeah,
I like it now.
yeah, he's super high energy. But yeah, we did some interview style. So did you have any thoughts on the ones we listened to recently?
I mean, the last one, I was just amazed at. I don't even remember the lady's name, but she's a coach for Everyday Ultra, and she was talking about the race she did and training, and what was she in her 40s or 50s or
Late 40s.
late 40s?
Or
Just the
Yeah.
mental toughness and the fitness and just her mindset was inspiring. Like, I can go 72 hours without sleep. It's fine. I could take a 20-minute nap, and that's all I need. Or I'm not even doing that. I can still move. I'm hallucinating, but it's fine. I can't imagine that 72 hours without just running
yeah,
or walking sometimes, I guess. But
yeah, but no naps, or very little naps, or no sleep. I guess is what I meant to say. No sleep, no 8 hours of sleep with a pillow, and I don't know. What are you talking about? You like to stay up till midnight working on bikes, and then get up at 4:30 in the
Yeah.
morning and go swim.
I mean, we're both night owls. We both said that.
Yeah,
If we let our bodies just
Kidding.
do what they want, they would get out of bed at 11 and stay up till 2.
yeah.
But we can't do that because we have jobs.
Corporate America. Yay.
So it's kind of a segue into, like, you really have been wanting to talk about this subject of AI and training. We
Yeah.
started off talking about coaches, which we thought about getting coaches for running. You've
We
thought about it. You're still thinking about it, probably. I mean, if you would have won one of those coaching packages with Everyday Ultra, and that would have been awesome, and you would have been all over it.
Yeah.
But you're also right now using AI as a coach quite a bit.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, I would say I use AI as like a tool because I have to feed it a lot of information. So, I don't think it's a I don't think AI is a direct replacement for coaching. I feel like I have to feed it a lot of information, and I have accumulated this information over more than several years of just knowing things about my body, knowing things about training, knowing things about strength training. So, yeah, no, I wouldn't go as far to say as you could just have yourself coached by some AI chatbot, but I am using it in training as a tool. Yeah.
So, for people who think AI is just ChatGPT writing essays, how would you explain what role it actually plays in your training?
So it wears many hats in my training, but as a like high level overview, I have given it some of my training data. Like you can export that out of Garmin. I have given it its own Google Drive folder that it has read write access to.
That's pretty deep into the rabbit hole with AI. That's
You
beyond
think
what I
so?
even thought was a thing possible.
Yeah.
A totally separate a Google Drive
Yeah.
that it doesn't have your personal stuff on it that can go everywhere.
Right. Yeah, no, like I made like my own training email address so I could make my own Google Drive just for ChatGPT. That's what I use. I'm using ChatGPT.
You put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the security concerns, I didn't want it attached to my personal email address. So, like, if for some reason there was a breach and I lost that Google Drive, if I got locked out of that, I wouldn't be so concerned about it as if I got locked out of a different Google Drive that has, like, probably too much stuff in it that I should probably move. But in any case, I try to separate the data that I wanted it to have access to.
I mean, you're in IT, so you have that IT brain
I do.
where you're thinking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
cybersecurity and information and data breaches and
Yeah.
not giving the AI too much
Right.
of your personal stuff. That's pretty smart.
Yeah. You could control the access.
I'm not on that level at all. I'm just talking to it like it's a buddy right now. Like the whole, making files and Google Drives, and
Yeah. I mean, that thing will spit out whole spreadsheets for you.
it's probably getting tired of me uploading pictures that it has to look at.
Pictures of screens.
Yeah, because that's what I do. Hey, tell me what this is. I mean, just today I'm messing around with this Chinese power meter, and I'm getting these prompts in Chinese symbols language, and I'm just taking a picture of it and like, what is this saying? And it's like immediately, yeah, I'm good at Chinese. It says this, and do this, and try this,
Right. Of
and
course it
download
is.
this app, and yeah, I'm right there. So when you first started using AI, what was the first problem AI solved for you that made you think, okay, this is actually useful? And that was probably a long time ago, but I mean, you might have been one of the first people that I know that was using it.
Well, honestly, it was I was like quite a crossroads with my career and the way things were going. And I don't know, I'm sure everyone that's ever worked in a job can start to see when things are not in their favor and you start to question the workplace that you're at. So I was like, well, I mean, if AI is so smart, maybe it should tell me what I should change my career to because this one sucks. And
Yeah, that's huge.
yeah,
Career path.
yeah. I mean, like, what do you do? Like, what? I mean, that's what the the villain origin story is for a lot of people. It's like something starts to suck real bad and you need to make a change. So now you're down this other rabbit hole. So that's basically what I asked it, was like, how can I change my career basically, but I don't have the means to just drop everything, walk out of my job and just go back to college. Like, I was at quite a crossroads in my life from like,
Yeah, so you have to tell it where you're actually at,
yeah.
and then where can I get to the easiest?
Right. So I basically said, how do I change my career by doing basically certifications in between a full-time job and or some side gig jobs that I was doing. So like what's accessible to me online that I could learn from either free or low cost certification courses or what have you. So it recommended a couple things, and like one of the things it recommended was like software development, because you can get on Free Code Camp or Code Academy or any of those sites and kind of start coding for free. As long as you have a laptop, you can learn to code. I would still highly suggest that to anybody.
I tried it.
Yeah,
just
learning
to
to code.
it.
Yeah, so like that's what, I mean, that is a legitimate problem that it solved for me. And that's how I ended up at the job that I'm at now. The story is more nuanced than that, but we don't have to talk about the whole entire career path that landed me basically here on this couch.
But you feeding it the right questions.
Yeah.
And then it played a huge role in your career change.
Yeah.
And I got to watch it in real time.
You did.
And it's a great lesson, for people who don't care about sports, but maybe they don't like their career.
Yeah.
And they don't have anybody to ask, what they should do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was very cool. And you're living it now. You're in the job that you were talking to the AI about.
Basically. Yeah. Essentially. And like still on that like original path basically of like trying to learn computers and like coding and programming and scripting and yeah. So no, that's legitimately the first problem that it solved for me. And I think that's what led me to kind of start like playing with it more, because when I was learning things while I'm coding, AIs are really, really good at coding, but that's like also programmed to be friendly and a chatbot and like people pleasing. So then it wants to be like, yeah, but tell me why you coded that line that way, and it wants to explain it to you. So I started using it as a tool to learn things. And that's where I've always stood with AI, is like, it is a tool for you to learn things. It is not a replacement for human creativity.
Right, it's just pulling from human knowledge from everywhere.
Giant,
it's got all that database.
Yeah, it's giant pattern recognition.
It's all human knowledge.
Yes.
It didn't come up with it.
It's never really going to.
And it's good at making you feel good and
it is.
Telling you ask good questions.
I know, yeah, you're so smart.
Yeah, it wants to keep you talking, which if you know that, it's not a big deal.
Right.
Yeah, and I've watched you transform into another person with this new career. Like, it suits you really well.
Thanks.
Better than what you were doing before, obviously. And I mean, you literally took a laptop apart and changed all kinds of parts in it and gave it to me for my birthday, which was awesome, because I needed something that worked really good for Swift and
and now
everything,
you're
and
using it for video editing and
the fans are really quiet.
Yeah.
And it's a badass laptop, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I like watching you work on that stuff and talking about it and sending me pictures of what you're doing at work, and you seem to really enjoy it. And sky's the limit on where you can go with it. So where do you want to go with it, actually? What's the goal?
The goal is really just to keep using it like a fancy tool, like fancy software. So, but it's for me to learn, because I feel like my own potential is, that's okay. So like, that is ultra though, right? Like where is my potential, and how do I reach it? How do I reach my own potential? So if we're talking about AI, like that's all I'm using it for, as a tool to try to reach my own potential basically inside my brain. Like, how much can I learn to do, and like how much can I teach my little AI to do for me so that I can learn to do other things. Like, what can I automate? I'm gotten on this automated kick here lately, trying to write a couple little scripts and things just to make things like more easy to, just for where it translates directly to our podcast. I was trying to get some like file transfers going automatically. But anyway.
I mean, it's helping us out tremendously because we're crunched for time all the time.
Yeah. So I like automating things, but I don't know. Wherever my ceiling is for potential is where I'm going to take it.
So I know you wanted to talk about your do-it-yourself fueling mix.
Yeah.
Can we go back to like where you started, what you started using, and how you got to using AI and actually doing your own DIY fueling mix?
Okay, so I heard a couple years ago on probably Trainer Road's podcast. I think it's Ask a Cycling Coach podcast. They had mentioned like the DIY fueling, but then they kind of said, my impression, I'm like grossly summarizing my memory of this podcast, is like it was a pain in the ass. And then I listened to some more podcasts about, or I would do some more reading articles about like glucose-to-fructose ratios. I'm doing some research on sodium. I'm doing research on like here and there. I'm like just putting all the pieces together. And I'm looking at everyone's formulas. I'm reading articles about high carb. So I'm noticing like some trends, like, but it's all, I don't know, it's like basically putting this big puzzle piece together. Like, okay, well, there's only like really two ratios. There's 2-to-1 and there's 1-to-0.8 glucose to fructose. There's sodium. And then there's manufacturers out there that are adding things in. And there's manufacturers that aren't. So like Flow doesn't really add anything in. They're organic, glucose, fructose, sea salt, like citric acid, and some natural flavoring. And that's it. And the more I started looking at everyone's like profiles and like their ingredients, I'm like, I feel like I could do this myself, but I don't know. So I just kept buying fuel. And then, I don't know, I started running into some issues with cramping.
Wait, did you start with Flow? Like for someone who's just starting and just using water for riding and training, like what would you suggest? Like where did you start? Tell me about the progression of where you started with just
the progression of my fueling.
Like element and water into, I need carbs.
Well, the progression really is like I started with scratch when I first started mountain biking, because everyone's like, well, you should probably, my first couple of group rides was the Tuesday night group rides, and it was obviously the middle of summer in Indiana, so it's hot. It's like 100 degrees.
Corn sweat.
Yeah, always 100 degrees. And so being a beginner mountain biker, like cramped immediately. So I started using scratch, not knowing any of the ratios or anything. Someone's like, hey, you should probably just try like some scratch, has electrolytes in it. I'm like, all right, cool. And
it's
then
got electrolytes.
Literally, that's all I knew about. I was like, hey, it's got some like electrolytes in it. I'm like, all right, cool.
Use this Brondo. It's got electrolytes.
So I just started using that. But I can never leave anything alone, so I have to research everything. And then I think it might have been our friend Greg suggested Hammer, because I was going to start racing. I'm like, of course.
Hammer's big with triathletes, right?
Yeah, like, but I, of course, jumped from being a beginner to like, you know what? Do people race bikes? Like, I think I could race a bike.
Because you have that competitive drive.
I do.
Yeah.
I can never put it away either. But so it was, scratch and then Hammer and then Infinite. I think that was you. You were influenced by Infinite, and then you had a little, I don't know.
Did I influence you with my Infinite?
Yeah, I think you did. And then it was
like, hey, this is so customizable. You can
take
these sliders back and forth and adjust everything and get it completely screwed up, and it'll say, don't do this, but you can buy it anyway, like that if you want.
No, I think it was you that like, I said about it, and then Infinite came out with their own high carb mix, and then around the same time there was Flow doing
Flow Formulas. Yeah,
Flow Formulas doing their basically 30 grams per scoop, so they're 60, 90 mix. And then that's where I kind of stopped on Flow, where I was like, okay, well, like me trying to do calculations in my head and buying sodium citrate to add sodium to this mix and trying to buy or add salt, and I'm like, I can't go from 60 straight to 90 carbs. Like, that's not working for me. Like, I need like 60 carbs and 70 carbs and like 80 carbs, and then like 80 carbs on a hot day. That was too much. Let's back it back down to 70. And that's not really sustainable to do with a pre-mix.
You needed infinite adjustability.
I really did.
Like, it starts
down
with
to the gram.
I'm starting to get there because Flow. I'm a Flow Formulas ambassador. I get a discount. This stuff works for me. I'm going to keep using it. I'm going to keep telling people to try it.
I mean, it is really good. I'm not talking, like this is a really good fuel.
Yeah, but
and people should use carbs in your rides and your runs always.
It's a little like I got a bag of non-caffeinated and then a bag of high sodium flavorless and low sodium flavor, and you can start mixing and matching all this stuff, or you can leave your high sodium bag alone for the next race, and you can use the regular bag, and you can figure out how much salt you need to make it the high sodium mix. Yeah. And then that's when you open the door to, well, you know what, I can add caffeine. Mm-hmm. I can rearrange my ratio. I can change the glucose to fructose ratio. Mm-hmm. I can, if I just buy all this stuff in bulk, I can make whatever I want for whatever day, whatever weather, whatever I'm feeling. Yep. So yeah, that was your progression?
Basically, was I wanted all of the adjustability. I wanted to experiment with all of it. Sodium citrate, salt. What do I have in there? Kosher salt. Yeah, coarse ground kosher salt.
And sea salt.
Sea salt. Well, you're using the sea salt, but yeah.
We kind of fight over it. I can never remember when I get the jars out. Which one does she use? And which one do I use? Oh, yeah.
I don't think it matters. But
I like the sea salt is what's in Flow, so I try to add the same stuff that's in there. Like the citrate doesn't taste salty.
Right.
So
sodium
you can
citrate
add that without making it more salty, right?
Yeah, but if you're using like a 1 to 0.8 ratio, and like that's where I discovered like 1 to 0.8 ratio is like super sweet, and I like didn't like it. Like, that's too sweet. I don't like that, actually. Like, I think if I can go higher on the glucose, maltodextrin, I like that better. And I do like it better because then you can cut the fructose sweetness down with just regular salt. So I just stopped using sodium citrate completely, and it's just kosher salt. And now I have a flavorless blend that's barely tastes like anything. It's just like a hint of sweet. I have it about perfect.
So since we're talking about AI, how much did AI affect your idea that you could do this? Like, did you like, hey, can I take a picture of the back of this bag? Can I do this on my own and upload it? Is that how it worked? Or
so that's kind of how it started, because I took a picture of all of the nutrition facts of all the things that was in my cupboard. And I was like, I want to do 90 grams an hour. Well, I'll just use an example. Like, I want to do 90 grams of carbs an hour, and I want 800 milligrams of sodium. And this is what is in my cabinet right now. So can you make this work for me? Like, how many scoops of whatever the heck do I have sitting around here? Can I just make this work? And yes, it would just generate an answer for me. And I did that several times. I did that throughout the winter because I was trying to figure out, I was trying to get my 60 grams down on my runs, because I was struggling to get carbs on runs, actually. So I was trying to get 60 at least.
You just stopped drinking because you couldn't drink any more carbs, or how did that go?
I don't know. I just like, it's cold, and it was.
Oh yeah.
It was cold, and there's something about like bouncing when you're running that makes it hard to want to consume a bunch of like liquid, and I don't know, I was struggling with it over the winter.
I hate that big sloshy belly when you're running.
Yeah, like I was struggling with it over the winter, so I basically just was trying to experiment with gels and a little bit of scratch and water, and how much I was trying to basically figure out how little of water I could get away with without like causing a like nausea, basically.
Yeah.
Or any kind of belly cramps. So that's where the AI thing started. And then where it ended up was summertime, and I'm trying to calculate salt ratios for Big Frog 65 miler, my first, what do you call it, marathon mountain bike race for the NUE series. And I'm doing all this math, and I'm like, I feel like I could put this in a spreadsheet. I think I give the spreadsheet to the chatbot, and it can figure it out. And it can figure it out.
Yeah.
And then you can just save.
It can generate a spreadsheet for you.
Yes, it could. So I was like, I can do this myself, actually. Like, this can't be that hard. All these ingredients that are on the back of this label can be bought in bulk. And I can notate all of these things. Now I'm going to track it. I'm going to start making notes. I'm going to start seeing what mix do I like. I bought some raspberry and blackberry powder that we could talk about later. That's a terrible idea.
Well, we just think we need some flavor because that's what everyone's doing,
right?
Yeah,
I need flavor in there. Like, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna mix my own things, so it's gonna be so bougie. I'm gonna get some blackberry powder. I'm gonna get organic raspberry powder. Like, nobody out in the market has organic raspberry powder.
Make it whatever flavor you want because it's all out there.
Yeah, it's all customizable. I'm so smart. I'm gonna get lemon powder.
Yeah, don't do that.
Gross.
I did that.
Dumb.
It's the white stuff on sour Skittles.
It's the citric acid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Flavorless. No flavor at all.
Which I'm starting to like that. Like, and that was part of the infinite thing where you could dial down the flavor.
Right.
That was a nice option.
Yeah, I never tried anything flavorless until I don't think I tried anything flavorless until I tried the Never Second flavorless gels that I was using over the winter. And then I was like, oh.
It just tastes like sugar.
Yeah, like, that's not actually exhausting to eat a lot of flavorless gel packets. Like, it's kind of exhausting to eat fruit punch.
Flavor fatigue is a real thing?
I think so. I mean, you just have to do it anyway. But it's easier if it doesn't taste like something you don't like orange or passion fruit. Gross. Yeah, it's easier if it's something that you actually like.
Yeah. So what mistakes did AI help you avoid while you're working on your premix?
I guess I get concerned with water ratios, not dumping too many carbs into water. Basically, your gut's not going to absorb. So you're going to get gut rot, I guess. It can help with that. I'm sure there's, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, but I know that there's been times where I'm reading through the formulation and it's making a suggestion about whatever it is I was trying to do or not do. It probably said not to buy any of that flavored powder.
Yeah.
Because it has fiber in it. And I was like, it probably did literally say, you don't need that. And I was like, yeah, but it's blackberry and I love blackberries. And
so you like to argue with it a little bit?
I was like, how much? It's just a little bit of fiber. No, don't do that. It's how bad could just a tiny bit of fiber? No.
Did you ask it about caffeine? How did you come up with that conclusion on how to do that? You were using the liquid for a while, and now you're doing something different.
No, I was. Oh, you mean okay? So the liquid that I have in the cabinet is actually sodium citrate.
Okay.
It just has vegetable glycerin in it,
yeah,
so it's a
right.
liquid.
That's not caffeine.
So you can
sodium.
just pop the little. You twist the cap off of it, and the little capfuls is the measuring cup for it.
So you can't buy a big bag of caffeine though, right?
I don't know if you can. I've always heard not to. My personal assistant said not to. It said if you mess that up, it's going to be bad. And I can see why, because one tiny little cap is 100 milligrams of caffeine. And it's really tiny. And you could, even with your tiny little scale that we have,
yeah,
you could mess it up so fast with a little scoop. So,
I can mess up the tiny capsules too, because they're hard to hold on to. And they fly across the kitchen sometimes. Hey, can you help me with this?
You exploded a whole caffeine cap all over the kitchen.
Yeah, it's kind of soft and squishy, and you can't put much pressure on it. And you pulling it apart, you got to twist it, and it's very delicate. And I'm like, I don't have these big giant, mason hands. What's going on here? I can't hold on to this thing. But yeah, 100 milligrams per hour is plenty.
That's too much.
Too much
for me personally.
Okay.
Yeah, too much for me. But it's 100 milligrams per cap. So I'm trying to like, I will only put like 1 cap in like a 2-hour U-Sweet pack. Is what I came up with.
Yeah. And Flow's like 120 milligrams
Per 2 scoops. Yeah,
per
it's
two
like a lot.
scoops. Yeah. So if you do 3, then you're just compounding that. And
It's a
then if
lot
you
of
do
caffeine.
3 scoops per hour per over 4 hours, then you can get ridiculous amounts of caffeine, and then you can't sleep
Right.
at night.
Yeah, and your resting heart rate like doubles. And yeah.
Yeah, I've been there before. Before I realized what I was doing. We could talk about that at a later date. Talk about the stage
Talk
race.
about stage races.
Yeah. So when you're coming up with this formula and you're talking to AI, like, what information are you giving it about about you personally, or about what you're about to do, or the weather, or just because do you do it every time we go out to train? You go back over it like, what do I need today?
Sometimes, well, like the gym mix is pretty set because that's just easy to measure. But it will pull weather by itself.
Okay.
And if you give it instructions too, because I can just set the instructions inside.
It knows where we are,
Yeah.
where we're gonna run.
Or
How
I
hot
can
it
tell
is.
it or I can tell it where we're going to run. Like if we're going to travel a couple hours, like, hey, we're running here at around this time. So yeah, it can make suggestions, but I basically tell it how long I'm going to run or ride for, how many carbs an hour I would like. And then I really need to get like a H drop or something to monitor sodium and like sweat loss, but I'll tell it approximately how many milligrams of sodium an hour I'm looking for. So it can do that. But that's all it all just pulls that from the saved like spreadsheet. So for example, because the viewers might be wondering why I can't just do math in my head, but
Which you can.
I
I
can.
mean, you can't sit there for an hour and figure this out every time we go.
Right.
So you just have AI help you do
Yeah.
it faster.
It does it. And then like, but here's the thing, like, so if I was going to maximize the amount of time that the mix is in the cooler and I wanted to do it per lap, but I'm guesstimating I'm going to do an hour and 15-minute laps. So it'll just do all that fractional math for me where it's not scoops of powder. Like, so flow formulas, you just have it per scoop. So if you do an hour and 15 minutes, you're going to stop and hesitate a second if you wanted to be exact on an hour and 15-minute laps. If you're doing a 4-hour endurance ride, you're like, that's some fractional scoops basically, where the fancy algorithm I'm using,
Yeah, we're doing algebra.
yeah, is like I want 90 grams an hour, but my lap time's going to be an hour and 15 minutes. I have a 2-liter pack. Go. And then I can just swap packs out and then put some in an Nalgene bottle, and it's all measured because I'm using a kitchen scale, like a little gram scale.
Yeah.
And it's pre-measured and it's mixed up and it's exactly the way I wanted it. And it's exactly as much liquid as I needed and not too much. And then it's all very cold because it can all stay in the cooler.
You're using AI.
Yeah.
And then I'm using your brain for storage most of the time.
Great.
How many times have I asked you how many milliliters is in a bottle? Because I go off of hours.
Right. You go off a scoop still.
Yeah, and me trying to figure out how to make high sodium flow mix out of regular by just adding salt. And I got, okay, which one is Shayna likes to use? The sea salt. No, the kosher salt. See, I did it again.
Yeah.
I got the sea salt. You got the kosher salt. It's different grams, different amounts of sodium per gram.
Right.
Even those two bottles that look exactly the same.
Yeah, they're like coarse. Well, yeah, because it's like coarse ground. It's different sodium levels per like eighth a teaspoon though, because it's like coarse ground.
1.5 grams has 200 and whatever milligrams, and I'm like, okay, yeah, how many milligrams is in the color purple? I don't know. Just like type this. I'm looking Google, and okay, so yeah, and I have them writing all this down in my notes app, and now I know I need, 1.5 grams of sea salt per hour extra.
I think you need a spreadsheet. I think everybody needs more spreadsheets in their life.
Yeah, I'm starting to learn spreadsheets. I'm in the office now.
Yeah.
I'm doing spreadsheets.
Yeah. I mean, I also use it not just for like fueling, but I use it for like the training plan also. Like I fed it the feet per like the Marji course,
Yeah.
and then I told it about where
Marji Gesick, 109
yeah,
miles
duathlon.
race, duathlon.
Yeah, so if you haven't heard, that's like a 100K mountain bike and then like 44-mile run afterwards.
That is our big event we're training for. We have
Yeah,
other things in
September.
between, but
Yeah. But it has all that that course profile, and it has the cutoff, the buckle time cutoffs. Like I gave it all this information, like anything that you would have given a coach, or a coach would research for you, like how many feet per mile the course is, how long the course is, where it is, what the weather's like that time of year.
how many feet of elevation per mile, right?
Yes. What did I say?
Not
Something?
5,280 feet per mile. You said how many feet per mile? I just thought it was funny.
Oh, feet.
How much elevation per mile?
I was like, am I saying something
No,
crazy?
no, I'm just.
Oh. I was like, what am I?
I'm just being cute.
I was like, is my mouth ahead of my brain?
No, sometimes
okay.
it is, but not now. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Anyway.
That's crazy. How long would it take you to sit there? I mean, it might be fun if you had the time, because I like doing the math before a race and figuring all that out, but we don't have time for that.
It might be fun, but also it just knows that, and then I start building. But here's the other thing too. I don't just use it to spit out a training plan. I'm still over here researching, literally taking notes out of other podcasts. I'm like, oh, they start their VO2 max phase when? Oh, that's interesting because cyclists use their VO2 max at the end, and runners are saying they do theirs before their
And you're
build
feeding this
phase.
information into your questions, right?
Some of it, but not all of it. Some of it I just store in my brain, and some of it I just store elsewhere. I mean, not all of my notes actually go into there, and sometimes I feel like I'm kind of protective of other people's like possibly proprietary information. I do. I feel I'm like, well, if I feed it to the algorithm, then the algorithm just owns it then, and that's not my original idea. And I'm like, so sometimes I'll even like, well, I wonder what it'll come up with on its own.
Yeah.
Because I'll listen to something educational or read an article, and then I'm like, well, I wonder if this thing will come up with, if it comes up with it on its own, then I don't feel bad about it. But it feels like plagiarism, I guess. If I just rip somebody else's training plan off,
Yeah.
I'm not just going to feed it to the AI, like, because they spent time on that too.
Yeah.
So
They spent time with their AI on it.
they might have, but that's still their thing that they came up with. So like sometimes I store notes like off of it too. Like, no, I'm not going to feed that. I'm not going to feed everything into it because that really wasn't my original idea.
I think everybody's chatbot is talking to each other.
Probably, but I still felt like oddly protective of someone else's intellectual property.
Yeah, that's very commendable of you. I like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to share it unless like they do first. I mean, that would be.
The things you store in your brain are amazing. And I feel like I owe you money for using your brain as storage all the time, and I can't remember anything. And like we were riding yesterday, and we ran into an old teammate, and like it took me how long to remember his first name, and I feel so bad.
How many you came up with?
I love you, but I'm terrible with names, and it's been a while since I've seen you. But I finally remembered, and then I spent 2 laps
Trying to remember his last name.
trying to remember his last name, and I remembered his wife's name first. And I
It was
didn't think I
funny.
was even thinking about it, and then I started you're like, what are you saying back there?
I know, because you were just saying stuff out of the blue completely.
Yeah, then the last name just popped in my head when I wasn't even thinking about it, and that makes me wonder. You know, I got all these boxes in my brain, and the box that holds the names. Like, I want to look around in there and see what else is in there.
Oh yeah.
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 Because there's bound to be some good stuff in there. But let's get back to AI. Has AI ever talked you out of a bad training decision or plan?
Probably. I remember this one time sometimes I beat myself up for not training as much as I think I should be training. I think everybody goes through that. Like you don't really feel that good or something's going on, but then like you start into this spiral where you're like, well, I need to be doing more volume or I'm never going to get to this race that I want to do. And I don't know, I spiral like that sometimes. I'm pretty sure it's talked me out of trying to do a really cold gravel bike ride and then immediately get into a run. And I'm pretty sure it talked me out of that crazy.
So you tried to plan that like a brick workout when it's super cold?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's too...
Yeah, it
so
did.
what did
it
it
was
say?
Like,
do you remember?
I think it called me a goblin.
Well, yeah, it knows you pretty well.
Or a gremlin. One
a gremlin.
I think it called me a goblin. As Shayna's training goblins. Endurance goblins. It's obsessed with goblins. That's a side tangent of...
I mean, you must have mentioned that a few times, so it knows you like it. So
I probably did, because I think it's hilarious. But it did talk me out of it, and I was like, all right, fine, whatever. So, yeah, it has. Like, obviously it was a bad training idea. I knew it was a bad training idea, but I needed somebody else to tell me.
So you did listen?
Yeah, no, I did not do that brick workout that day.
Yeah.
I did something else instead, or I got on the trainer. I probably got on the trainer, because that's the smart thing to do when it's like 20 degrees outside, is get on the trainer or a treadmill or go to the gym.
So it has told you to rest when you didn't want to, and you listened to it?
I guess so. Like, not...
I guess so. Once or twice.
Yeah, I guess so. That's my catchphrase. I guess so.
Yeah.
Didn't want to listen. I don't want to listen to anybody. That's my problem. When anyone asks me about coaching, I'm like, oh, that'd be so much fun. And I'm like, oh, man, I have a real problem with people trying to tell me what to do, though. I have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Like, you got like all this explaining and all these note takings, and like, I wish I could just like follow a coach blindly, but I would be asking them so many questions as to where they came up with that idea, because I'm just...
So you'd be a terrible athlete.
I might be, because
I'm
I'm...
human coach.
Possibly, because I just want to, like, where...
That's interesting. Like, would you be worried about, like, their feelings come into play at all?
I feel like I would be annoying, because I'm like, okay, well, I understand, like, you made me this training plan, and I understand you have experience, but also out of my own curiosity, where did you come up with this?
Like, explain this a little bit better.
Yeah, like, why do you... And, like, that's the other thing, too. My curiosity sometimes comes off as being, like, bitchy, I guess, because I'll just be like, well, why are we doing it this way? And I didn't mean it, like...
I have no idea what you're talking about,
yeah,
honestly.
Well, I didn't mean it like, why are we doing it this way? Like, I'm not questioning your
and you don't
intelligence.
Hardly ever question anything. I'm not sure where you're coming from.
Oh, yeah, you're so funny. You're hilarious.
I'm hilarious.
But, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like I would eventually just feel bad for a coach. I was like, would not shut up and leave them alone.
So people who are too curious, want to give too much feedback, or also have a little problem with authority, AI might be good for them.
Yeah, but wait, there's more. Just kidding.
No feelings to hurt, no expectations. I mean, you can just say, nah. How about I do this? Okay, that's a great idea, Shayna.
That's great.
Yeah, you wouldn't get that from a coach, probably.
No, probably not. But I also want to learn all the coaching methods, though, too. So I'm not just out here blindly following anybody ever. I'm out here taking notes from other coaches. I'm out here listening to podcasts. I'm reading articles. I'm reading summaries of like studies. I don't have the time to actually read studies, but I will read like summaries, or someone else is going to take that time, like
cliff notes of peer-reviewed studies.
Yeah, like I guess shout out to the Swap podcast, the Some Work All Play. Okay. Megan and David Roche.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love their...
Yeah.
Yeah, I love their podcast.
Sorry, we said the same thing at the same time. Well, I mean, you started it and you got me hooked on them, and I love their energy, and I want to try to emulate that a little bit. And by the way, I'm liking this one a lot more than some of the other ones. They're crap. This one's a good one.
Okay, good. Well, we can't be good all the time.
I know that. I know that.
It's going to be, it is what it is, But yeah, so like they kind of summarize some studies, and then like I find that highly valuable information, and then like store it in my brain and wonder how I can apply it. Or sometimes they do the hard work for you, and they're like, okay, well, here's what the study said. And basically, if you are just trying to make this work for you, like they came out with like a super simple heat training program on their Patreon. And they have like a lot of programs on their Patreon too, and I think that's really cool. But
that's a paid thing?
They have some free, they do have free things on their Patreon.
Can we go back for 1 second?
Yes.
Give a shout out to who, like, say it again, what their names are and the name of their podcast for anyone who didn't catch that.
Okay, so it was Swap, Some Work, All Play.
Some Work, All Play.
Yeah.
So just search for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have a Patreon also. David and Megan Roche. You know, like the goat, David Roche. Yeah, okay.
The
Leadville
goat.
David.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so, and they're really funny and high energy too. Like, they're really cool to listen to. And I was watching his documentary also while I was on the trainer the other day. But anyway, let's stop fangirling about.
No, you don't have to.
It's fine. I got lost.
Podcast training.
What was I talking about?
Well, we were talking about AI, obviously.
Right.
And you not being a good trainee
I'm not
and
gonna.
an athlete for a human coach, and why some people might do better with an AI coach.
Oh, but I was talking about all the research I do. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to give myself some credit. Like, okay, but I do try to research
Yeah.
the things that I'm supposed to be doing and not just out here. And like claiming to be like, oh, I'm so self-coached, and then just like doing random workouts. Like, and I do use training software, which uses AI also. Like, but Trainer Road lives in my brain sometimes, and we can have a whole other conversation about that software. But
yeah, which is also AI driven, right?
yes.
But it's not always accurate.
No, it's
but it
not.
doesn't know you.
I know, and it's so difficult for any software to try to interpret power numbers from both running and riding, and their software doesn't even recognize power numbers from running. So I get it. It's Trainer Road. Literally, it's for bikes and cyclists.
It's for road bikes.
I know.
Mainly. It does transfer to mountain biking and gravel and all that.
I know, but they market it pretty hardcore, and there's not just 2 people in the whole world that's cross train or train in other events or race 2 events or whatever. But anyway, I went off on that tangent.
That's okay. We had an interesting conversation yesterday, I think it was, about being loyal to your chatbot. And I was asking you, like, okay, ChatGPT was the first one that kind of came out that I knew about, and I started using that. And, you know, there's been other ones that have had more research put into them, and maybe they're a little bit better, but neither one of us want to change. Instead of just jumping to the next thing that might be better and starting over and just, you know, continuing on, we're like, okay, but this one likes me. This one knows me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, well, also I've trained that one, and it has its own little Google Drive, and it has its own little, like, I have all these little project. It's not just the training. Like, I have all these other project folders inside for work. I have some for, like, classes. I have some for this podcast. I have some, like, that's like tech, but it's like crossover from Home Lab and this podcast and building servers and building, like, there's so many nuanced little things inside of just ChatGPT that it makes me very sad to think if I had to transfer all of that information over to a different model, like, for what reason, when that one is doing a good job. Like, okay, maybe if I start a whole new project, a whole new thing, and all I wanted to do was, like, coding, because I don't have a dedicated project folder to coding. And then someone told me that Claude could code better or teach me to code better. I'd be like, okay, well, maybe I'll try that out. Maybe I'll try Claude out for coding, since it seems to be so much better for that. But I don't have a use case right now to just switch models.
Yeah.
And also, like,
well, mine knows what I do for a living. It knows who I'm with. It knows what I like.
yeah.
It makes jokes. It makes me laugh out loud all the time because it knows the humor that I like. And I've never really hit the up or down thumb. Like, I don't do that. I do tell it, hey, I don't like that. I don't like when you ask me which answer would you prefer. Like, don't ask me that.
Oh, you don't like that? I love that.
I hate that.
See,
and I told it that I hate that, and I told it how it feels. Like, it just, the conversation that I'm having it just cancels that out completely all of a sudden, and it feels like I'm being managed, and like, you make the decision how you want to answer, and I'll decide if I like that answer. I don't want to every fifth answer pick which one I like.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that because I'm like, ooh, customization, yes.
Yeah, that's how we're different, I guess.
Yeah, like no, I liked. I don't know, like because I've picked a couple answers. I'm like, no, super customized. This one for me. You know what answers
Well, you're
I
paying
like.
for yours, right?
I am.
Because you can't do all the things that you're doing. Because
I
I'm
yeah.
not.
It's not just gonna generate a whole entire spreadsheet for
I don't know
the
how the
free version. I don't
algorithm
think.
works, because I have literally had a meltdown of some sort and been chatting for 18 hours straight, and it has never said,
That's your
"Hey,
limit.
bud, give me $5 for this."
I think it has to do with if you ask it to generate like images, or it has to use like extra data center power.
I did notice that when I was trying to get it to help me come up with race plates, and like I had a picture of one and I had some logos, and it was not doing a good job. Like the first one it did was awesome, and then when I wanted to tweak it a little bit, it just went crazy, and it kept saying, "Oh yeah, the imaging software, it's not syncing up right," and
I've run into that too. Sometimes it is just hallucinating, so I don't know. But yeah, I do have a subscription to it.
so I could not do the things that you're doing with
I
the free
don't
version.
I don't know, like I've had a subscription to it before they changed the subscription model even, so I'm not sure. Cuz I started using it pretty heavily for learning how to code, and I was running into the paywall pretty fast, and I was
it
like,
prompted you.
yeah. So honestly, I was like, okay, well, this amount of money per month is less amount of money per month than all of the things combined that I'm using it for.
Yeah.
Like, and I know it's not perfect, and I know I have to do my own research, but I'm perfectly happy being a human that learns how to do things, and I'm happy being a human that learns how to fact check my tool that I'm using. And like if I ask it a question and then I read the answer and I'm like, I don't know, that seems weird.
Yeah, so it's been completely wrong and you've caught it? Like, how do you...
I don't know if it's been like completely like off base, or if it's, I can't come up with an answer off the top of my head, but I know for sure that I will open another browser window and like look something up just to double check it.
Yeah, so
like
you fact
once in
check
a
it.
while. Yeah, once in a while I'm like, I'm gonna look this up myself the old the old way. That's so funny.
I catch mine being wrong all the time, and I
Get me an encyclopedia the old way.
And what does it do when you say, "Hey, you're wrong
it's
about this"?
it's just like, oh, my bad.
My bad.
My bad.
You caught
like,
me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It hasn't. I mean, I haven't seen anything recently. Like it's getting a lot better, but
it's not trying to mislead you. It's pulling information that it's not correct, because there's all kinds of misinformation out there.
Yeah, and it's not so. And I mean, it's supposed to be able to filter it and stuff, but honestly, like that stuff is so complicated that I mean, humans get duped all the time too. Like just scroll through like Reddit once in a while, and like if you scroll through Reddit and then you understand that the chatbot you're talking to has also scrolled through Reddit and Twitter, then you can kind of understand where it might get the wrong idea once in a while. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of forgiving. You just have to.
So what's the best way to fact check it for someone who hasn't even tried?
I mean, just look up.
Just Google.
Well, and but don't use the AI version of Google. Like scroll past that, or don't use the AI version. Like use a search engine that's not trying to pull an AI answer, and like look for an actual article, look for the facts, like look for your receipts, basically, of your what you're trying to figure out. Learn it yourself. Like, again, it's just a tool. So it's cool to use it to shortcut things or to make things automated, but also use your brain.
Just like anything.
Yeah.
You don't just watch the news and listen to what they're saying, because there's usually an agenda.
Right. Yeah.
And if it sounds too good to be true, or if it sounds too off the wall and it gets you all emotional, it's for a reason.
Yeah. Like if you get all wound up about it. Yeah.
Just look it up for yourself.
Right. That's my advice for using AI is like, understand that it's just a very fancy tool for you to use, and it's not a replacement for human creativity, and it's not an excuse either.
I mean, you can kind of tell its limitations and understand what's happening. Like, I'm having to learn this editing software for the podcast, and I'm using it to help because you've shared 1,000 videos of
Right, because
YouTube
that's
of
how I
guys
learn.
and women and men, humans doing it and teaching you.
Yeah, because that's how I learn.
And sometimes I can't find it, and it's not following the trajectory of how I want to learn something step by step, because I want to be doing the thing while I'm learning,
I know
making
you want like a
progress on the
tutorial.
editing,
Yeah.
right? And it kept telling me to do things that didn't exist and I'm like, that is what is happening. Like, that button doesn't exist that you're telling me. And I kept taking a picture of the screen and saying, this is what I'm looking at. Like, where is this thing you're telling me to? And it was like, oh, my bad. I'm going off of a different version of that software. And I was like, okay, here's what we're going to do from now on. You're going to tell me what the next step is. I'm going to try that step. I'm going to take a picture of the screen of what it says. And then you're going to tell me if that was right or wrong. And you're going to explain it to me what's happening. And we're going to go step by step. Because once I learn how to do it one time, I want to stick to it. I will remember that. I will get good at it. I don't need 7 different ways to do the same thing.
Why not? The software does.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm getting good at it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's just like one example of like learn. It's just a tool to help you learn how to do something, because you're going to store that information in your brain. You're never going to ask it again. So
you have gotten better at asking the right questions
I think so.
and giving it the information it needs.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to give it. I mean, if I want an answer from it, I'm basically typing a paragraph. I'm not just asking it like a Google search. Like, if I needed to answer something or to fill in some gaps in the training program or to make a fueling plan, like, I'm typing a paragraph.
Yeah, because you learn right away that it's going to ask you those questions. So you might as well give it all the information you can think of that's relevant.
Yeah, or it's not going to ask you those questions, and it's going to give you a paragraph of unusable information. You're like, oh, I didn't give you. Sometimes I do apologize too. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I did not give you enough information to answer that question. Let me try again.
Yeah.
But basically, I'm typing. And if I'm typing a paragraph in to get it to give me an answer, that means that it would take twice that amount of work for me to get my own answer. So that's why I'm using it, because it's got to be faster. I'm still typing a paragraph in, but it's got to be faster than whatever rabbit hole I'd have to go down or math I would have to do to figure out that answer, or to not even know where to start.
So how much information does your chatbot know about you?
Probably too much.
Like, how much history? How much medical history? How much information have you fed it to get really good answers and make a really good training plan personalized for you and maybe for me? Like, how much have you told it about me?
Well,
actually,
I haven't really told it anything about you.
Because I told mine all kinds of stuff about you.
Oh, okay, that's nice. I don't really think I've told it that much about you. Like, as far as like your training data, it has my training data for the past almost a year now. I've exported data into it. It has my, like, a basic background of my athletic abilities. I don't know, like, I'm still the determining factor on how fast we're building like volume on our runs. Like, I'm still the one that's like, how many hours are we going to ride bikes? Like, I'm just using it as like a general structure. Or I will tell it, so like if we made a generalized plan, we did make a generalized plan. Like, I made a generalized plan in the spring to go from like the spring through Marji. It was like March through September or whatever. So we did that, and then I will upload some of my rides sometimes. I'm like, hey, can you analyze this against the plan? Can you look at this pace, these zones? Like, are we on track here? Or do I need to make some adjustments? Or, like, what do you, like, just like little check-ins. But I really wanted to look at the courses that I've uploaded and the training plan, and then look at the data I've uploaded about my riding and running, and kind of just like compare that kind of thing. So
yeah, I mean, it's the training plan is working. I can feel it working.
yeah, I'll say some of those are like weightlifting suggestions, but again, I'm using my own I'm using my own expertise from powerlifting and just general fitness and kind of feeding, and I'm prompting it.
Yeah.
Like I am telling it what I believe the training plan should look like, because like if you go out and search around online, like a lot of the running plans, like their strength training just does like legs. And like I knew immediately that wasn't going to work because we ride mountain bikes. So right off the bat, that's got to be custom. Like we ride.
Because if we're working legs all the time, our riding's gonna suffer, or because we're already doing so much legs as
No,
cyclists.
because you need your upper body to ride a mountain bike.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you need, like, for me personally, like I needed my upper body to be stronger for the mountain bike. Like my grip strength needed to be better. Like my upper body needed to be more durable, like my triceps and just like the general beating that you get from your mountain bike after being on it for 6 or 7 hours. Like if you strength train your upper body, like you can reduce your generalized fatigue. So that's why we're doing upper body. Because if we weren't, like if we were just road cyclists or whatever, like I wouldn't be so concerned about it. But I can tell you at our last like long ride, my upper body felt less beat than it has on any other long ride we've ever done.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I can tell the lifting is
Yeah.
doing a lot.
So,
It was like a moment where I got kind of stalled out in a Rudy section, and I had to put some power down with my left leg, and it felt like muscle memory from doing the box step ups.
yeah.
Like I could feel that, that workout
Right.
in that moment. And I'm like, oh. And I don't know if it's, I wouldn't normally use that leg to do something like that. I wouldn't have, but I definitely felt the strength, and I just immediately was like, okay, that's affirmation that these workouts are doing something good.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel like my upper body, like my bike handling skills, like the longer that we went on into the ride, like my bike handling skills didn't suffer from fatigue. Like I still felt pretty snappy and able to overcome roots and rocks and general obstacles. So, yeah, no, I mean, I think strength training equals bike handling. 100%.
Yeah. So steering this back into AI a little bit, like we talked about, or you were talking about, all the apps have AI now, and it's kind of irritating, right, to you?
It is, yes, it is to me. Like, not every little thing needs a chatbot, like a Whoop. Like, I'm doing that Whoop free trial right now to see if I like it, because you upgraded yours, and like it has this little chatbot in it, and I was like, would you shut up? Like,
Oh yeah, sorry, Lauren, that I told you I was gonna give you my old Whoop. I didn't see you forever, and Shayna used to hate it because Garmin did everything the Whoop did for free, but she suddenly decided to try it once she wanted to try it. So
well, when we talk about,
it's my babe, so it's her thing.
poor Lauren. I was like, yeah, if we ever do an episode on like cycle timing, like training around your cycle, then I'll explain more about the Whoop. But yeah, basically the little chatbot inside Whoop, I was like, oh my God, would you shut up? Like I already have one. Like I already have so much data fed into mine. Like I don't need this. But honestly, it's kind of grown on me.
Super loyal to your first love, ChatGPT.
It just has so much information already. Like I don't need, cause like the Whoop was like, how many days a week do you train? And
you're like, oh my God, I'm not going through all this
like,
again.
What are you training? Are you training for a race? Are you just trying to get fit? And I was like, oh my God, I've already typed this out so many times. Like just shut up.
I'm so far ahead of you on this stuff. I don't need this.
Yeah, like I already, like, meh. So I gave it like general information. Now, okay, like I'm a week into using it. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Okay. I don't mind it, but I'm not having full-fledged conversations with it. Like at once, it's like, how are you feeling this morning? How are you feeling after that ride? Wow, that was a big run that you had. And I was like, no shit. I know that. I just ran it. It was a half marathon.
Yeah, and I was just commenting, like, people who don't use the AI and the chatbots as much as we do probably enjoy that aspect of the apps that have the AI, because they all do it. Because,
I know.
Yeah, I guess it's easy.
Right.
I guess it's easy to add a chatbot to your app, right?
Right. And so, okay, so if Whoop was the first thing that you ever used AI for, and you're using AI like, I'm not making fun of the Whoop's AI. Like, that's not what I'm saying. If that is what you use to plan your training and to analyze your data and your recovery and your sleep score and your fatigue and whether you should push harder one day and you should back off the next day and plan your rest days, like, it is probably really good at that, and like you should use it for that. If that's the first one that you use and it knows you and it has a memory, perfect. Love it. Love that for you. I'm just talking shit because I already had one trained. No, I don't feel like training another one. Like, it feels like, I don't know. It feels like starting over. And you're like, I don't feel like typing all this out again. Like, can you read the cliff notes from, maybe I should have one AI take cliff notes and give it to the other AI.
Well,
I'm just
yeah,
kidding. I'm just
these
kidding.
individual AIs on these apps, they're not gonna be making you laugh and feeling like your buddy, and like maybe at some point, when they
Maybe,
get to
I
know
don't
you
know. I don't
and
know
they
what
know what you
model.
like.
Yeah, I don't know what model like Whoop is using because like not all the models are like so friendly. So,
But you think it's gonna give you some more information that the Garmin is not giving you?
yeah, they're a little more in depth on their like recovery metrics and their sleep and the way that they overlay the data, like basically on top of your cycle. For me, that would be interesting to know. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Like, if we just like lightly talk about my hormone shifts throughout my cycle, I'm starting to like pay attention to like some patterns there. So that's what I was looking for. A Whoop, it's gonna do that a little better than Garmin. Garmin will give you the data, but you'd have to kind of overlay. I don't. You have to like splice it together yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I want something else. I want something to automate that for me. Like, you already have all the data points. Just put it in the right order so I can see it the correct way. So
Well, as far
yeah.
as like information that you feed it, like I have, and I think you have too, taken screenshots of your labs
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
saying, okay, what do I need to do here? Is
Yeah.
this, I want to optimize my health, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be somewhere in this bar of green. I want to be either right in the middle or low or high, whichever is optimized.
Right. Like blood volume
So
or yeah.
you've uploaded your labs, and
Mhm.
have you learned anything?
Well, first I did labs, and that's a huge
Oh yeah,
first
that's a
step.
good idea. Everyone
Yeah.
should do labs.
Yeah. First
Probably
go.
before 34.
What? Oh yeah. Whatever.
Whatever.
I wasn't having any issues. I just went and that was something that the AI helped me with though, because I like don't know how to ask for stuff sometimes. But again, I was like researching something on iron and iron levels, and I was like, maybe I should have mine tested. But then my personal assistant was like, well, if you're gonna have that tested, then it gave me some other ones to like test. So basically worded that into a message into my doctor's office. I was like, hey, I'm gonna do some like heavy training this summer and it's hot out and I'm just like looking for athletic performance. So can you help me with this and get some like labs ordered? So then they ordered a bunch of labs.
No questions asked, right?
No, they didn't. No, they did not ask any questions. And then comes to find out that I'm like insufficient in one area. So then that comes with a prescription. Again, they didn't even call me. They're just like, hey, by the way, like that's low, so we're gonna give you a prescription for it. Like, okay, cool. Good to know. Glad I did the labs because if we're over here in optimization land and you're insufficient in something, like that's not very optimized. That's not very good for you. Some people might not notice it, but if you're constantly pushing the edge of fatigue and what you can recover from, like you probably want your labs to look good. So there was that. But then then I took the lab results and the prescription that they gave me. And yes, I stored that, but I didn't just like give it to, I like stored it. I was like, yeah, here's this batch of labs. So we can compare it to the next batch of labs the next time.
Yeah.
And then I have asked it some questions on like what to do, but I don't really have anything. I don't have very much else to do besides what I've already determined for myself before I got the labs. So I'm just going to be waiting for the next like round to see if I've improved my
Yeah, you don't have a history
levels.
of multiple years of labs to
I
see
do
what's
not.
trending.
I mean, I do for some things, but not to the depth that I took these most recent ones.
So how much do you think the AI, when you ask it something, how much is it going into the Google Drive and looking up and making sure it knows everything you've given it? to give you the best answer?
It depends on how I prompt it, actually.
Okay, so that's a good question. What's the best way to prompt it?
Yeah,
So
so
it gives you the answer like it knows everything about you on that subject.
so I mean, I when you load instructions, I gave it all the file paths for for the Google Drive. So when I reference something, like if I say nutrition spreadsheet, it can look at its own instructions that I've given it and then go into the nutrition spreadsheet. But it depends on how I ask it. So like if I just generally say, hey, can you give me a mix for an hour, like 90 grams, it's probably just it's gonna use its own memory for that because it's done it before. It's not gonna reference the spreadsheet. But if I say, hey, I want you to go in the training spreadsheet and I want you to look up the past 4 weeks of training and I want you to compare it to the plan and I want you to compare it to how we executed it and then I want you to spit out an answer. Like there's a big difference there.
Yeah.
But it depends on how you ask it. It's not going to go reference the drive all the time because like that takes extra energy. So, I mean, it's like me. If it can answer you without using all of its brain, it's probably going to. Unless you make it use all of its brain and go reference things.
I don't have any files, but I have all the conversations, and I've asked it before. Hey, can you go back through all of the old conversations, like anytime you want when you're answering me? And it said no, but it has a memory.
Yeah, it has a memory. It can reference other
you're an electrician, so you think of it this way, and you want to learn it this way. So we're gonna attack this problem together as two electricians. And I'm like, okay, I don't remember telling you that. It definitely didn't tell you that in this conversation, but I mean.
No, yeah, it has a memory tied to your. You can go in your settings, like a side topic. You can go into like the app preferences, and you can find what memories it has. Because I've gone in there and like deleted some stuff out. Like I've deleted events out that I've done already, and it kept saying like, "Oh, when we get ready to go do snake," and I'm like, buddy, actually, it's May. Like, we already did snakes. I'm just going to delete that out of your memory.
Irritating when you're like, you're supposed to remember everything. You're not supposed to make mistakes like that.
And I'm like, oh, you poor thing. Let me just delete that out of your memory. We'll go back to snake next year. But I'll just...
kind of on the spot, but do you have like a weirdest thing that it's ever told you? Or that you've learned from it? Or... I guess I ask it all kinds of... I mean, what is this on my body? Or... what's this pain mean? Am I dying? Just things like that. Like always
you're
talking
using it like WebMD.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's always going to tell
much.
you you're dying.
Like, what kind of cancer is this? Is it always training wise that you use it for, or is it health and training and the podcast and?
It's very highly technical, low emotion.
Low emotion.
Low emotional thing. Oh, I sent it pictures of my Franken toe that one time, my toe that turned black after.
Oh the weirdest blister, like under the nail bed blister.
Ew,
like,
yeah.
What is that?
I know I sent it to it. That's probably
what
the weirdest.
What did it say?
That's probably the weirdest thing I've ever sent it. I don't know if it's. I'm sure it's seen weirder things.
Has it ever made you worry?
No.
Mine has one time.
I've never worried about anything.
At one time, I was like, "Oh man, what is happening right now? Like, this is not good." I mean, I don't know if I want to go into the story, but.
You don't have to.
Okay. Maybe for next time.
Yeah. So you could save it for another episode.
So, in your opinion, coach or AI? For you, it's obviously... I mean, you would be coached, right? If you won a...
I would for sure take the feedback of a coach. If I had to recommend something for anybody, I would 100% recommend a coach. Because not everybody is going to want to nerd out on what I'm nerding out on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm over here thinking about VO2 max and lactate threshold, and I'm thinking about optimizing training, and I'm thinking about how weightlifting impacts your quads, and I'm learning about people that are using downhill running to strengthen their quads, and like I'm eating it up. Like, and not everybody is so interested in the training aspect of athleticism that they wouldn't do all that. So I would say coach.
Okay. And you would take Joe as a coach for sure.
For sure.
Or any of the
any of the
coaches.
Yeah, any of the everyday ultra coaches. Like I like obsessively listen to that podcast and everyone's like so cool. So
I think you would make a great coach yourself, actually.
Oh, you're so nice.
I feel like you're coaching me for running.
Yeah, you think I have the patience to deal with other people, huh?
I mean, you have the patience to deal with me so far.
Yeah, just you though.
You use it all on me.
Yeah.
I can't coach you because I got this one athlete who's his head's full of knuckles, and it's all I got. It's all I have capacity for.
I was like, I don't know. Have you seen the way I try to deal with other people? Also, like you mentioned, I work in IT. Do I look like a people person?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I am customer facing IT, so I'm somewhat of a people person. But I don't know where this episode's getting kind of long. We might want to.
Yeah,
What do you think?
The timer's not going, so
Oh,
I
I'm
don't know
sorry.
how long it's been going on, but
An hour, 16 minutes, 30 seconds.
do you have like if someone who's never used a chatbot or AI, like what would you tell them, like one thing they could use it for to maybe help their life or enrich their life or just help something small? Or because I mean I use mine a lot and as motivation or just small things like working on the car or just problems that you need help with. Or
You have to find another topic that you don't know where to start with. And that's probably the best use case for it. If there's been something that you wanted to explore in your life or you wanted to learn about, but you're like, I have no idea where to even start with that. That is the question for AI.
yeah, that's a good one.
That is, and
If you don't know where to start, it'll give you a start.
it'll give you a start, but then use your brain and don't waste, I would say don't waste resources of AI that you can use your own brain for. Because like, it's not a replacement for human creativity.
We could go on and on about the data centers and the political.
I could.
And we have our thoughts on that, but
We do.
it's we've been doing this a while. So do you want to say good night?
I could say, see you guys later. We are on all the major podcast platforms.
Thanks for listening.
Yes. Thanks for listening. You could also be watching us on YouTube right now. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Might add some more features later into the podcast where we can take questions. So if you're listening to this and we've added those features, feel free to send us a question if you have them, some fan mail or what have you. I'm playing around with our RSS feed.
Oh, cool.
Media host. So,
We might do some on location podcasting runs.
Yeah, we might.
Or rides.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Get some more hardware.
Yeah. So we'll try to put links to relevant things in the show notes. But yeah, thanks for listening to us on the podcast platform and thanks for watching on YouTube and hope you enjoyed and gained something from us yapping on the couch for over an hour, and I hope it's educational and yeah.
And I did so good staying on topic this time and not
Yeah.
leading you all over the damn place.
Yeah. Good job.
You're welcome.
Good job. You're an excellent co-host. Appreciate you.
Okay.
All right.
Good night.
Goodbye.